and welcome to Shh, Don't Tell Mum. My name is Barney.
And I'm Jamie.
And this is the #1 parenting podcast in the world.
Please don't Google that.
Yeah, definitely don't. But you may notice that we are in a slightly different room to what we are normally in for our podcast sessions, because we're normally in Harry Potter's bedroom under the stairs. But Jamie,
AKA
today,
my studio. Thanks for that. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it is your studio. But we have something very special happening today. Do you want to divulge?
We have a guest, our first ever guest, and a parent of 2 to be.
Oh my goodness. We are joined by Ashley James. Ashley is a presenter, a DJ, a dating and empowerment coach as well. Very excited to hear more about that. But most importantly, Ashley is a mum to baby Alfie, currently second on the way as well, as Jamie has just said. Ashley, welcome to the Don't Tell Mum podcast.
Thank you so much. So weird to hear parent of 2. I'm like,
I know.
not me.
So excited to have you here. And we have so much to talk about. Jamie, you want to dive on in with the first question that we normally talk about on our podcast.
we always start with how is Rocket? So how's Alfie doing? He's going to be a big brother soon.
Alfie's going to be a big brother in 2 days. And the little shit has decided that now would be a really great time to start waking up at 3 in.
Oh.
Wow.
So he's good, but he's not good.
Yeah. It's
Good,
like
but
he
not-
knows.
yeah,
he can feel
exactly.
the energy.
I definitely can sense this week, like even Tommy rang me today because he had a little bit of a late night argument, which tends to happen when somebody wakes up at 3 in.
And you're exhausted.
And he rang me to be like, I'm really sorry. And I was like, we're about to go back into the trenches of newborn and sleep, all of that. And he was like, I just feel like he doesn't like me at the moment though. And I was like, no, honestly, it's this week. Like, for some reason, Alf knows and he wants mummy to do everything. Oh. But mummy can't do everything because she is about to have a baby in 2 days' time. And obviously, I'm like physically exhausted, like even lifting him in and out of the high chair. So I don't know if it's because he feels like he's not getting me all or he just knows what's coming.
Yeah.
Given Alfie's personality traits, how do you feel he's going to be as a big brother? Do you have any inkling of how he's going to react, or what you think he's going to be like?
I think he's going to really struggle because
Okay.
he loves, he likes one-on-one time, as like,
Is
what
he a
baby
mummy's
doesn't.
boy?
Yeah.
Massive mummy's boy.
Okay.
But I also think he's going to be the best big brother ever because he's like really nurturing, really caring. He loves family being around. He prefers family that are older than him. he's never really had to encounter anyone younger than him, and he really doesn't particularly like younger kids. He's also in that phase where he's not sharing. He doesn't like to share. I mean, who does like to share, let's be honest. But
Is he quite cuddly? Because this is something that we, struggle with.
Recently,
But
though.
more recently, Rocket's starting to become cuddly, but he's never been a cuddly baby. Rocket, as soon as you go to cuddle or go for a kiss, he does this whole and leans away. And you're like, wow, I just wanted a cuddle for 1 second.
In the
and he
last
just won't.
2 weeks, he started to become to the point where I was only breastfeeding for 8 weeks and stopped, put him on formula. Kind of regret that decision. However, I said to Barney the other day, I was like, thank God I didn't breastfeed him this long because he's clingy with me now. And I was like, imagine how clingy he'd be like if I was still breastfeeding. He wouldn't want to leave me at all. And that's only recently we've noticed how clingy he's been with me. Like, I'll put him down and he'll start crying straight away.
I guess kids just go through
And
phases,
they go through
don't they?
phases,
So it's just
yeah.
up and down.
It's because we're such new parents, I still feel like we're so new to it. We're still going through the trenches of it all.
to be fair, I still feel like a new parent. I'm like, I wonder at what point I will feel like I'm not new.
I'm experienced.
Because it's always the different phase. My friend said to me the other day, she went, I love this phase now. She goes, every phase, every new chapter, I'm like, oh, actually, I prefer this one. I prefer this one. And I was like, really? I don't feel like that.
See, Alf loves a cuddle, but only for a brief period, and then he's quite happy just like playing on his own.
Yeah.
But what really annoys me is he'll kiss everyone else apart from me. So if I say, can mummy have a kiss? He like turns his cheek. He's like,
Oh,
bitch.
cold shoulder.
so annoying.
Outrageous,
Yeah,
'cause-
but last night in the bath, Tommy said, give mummy a kiss. And he tried to give me a kiss, but because of my bump, I couldn't lean in enough. And then the moment went. And I was like, I almost got a kiss.
Oh, no.
I'll take it.
I got a half kiss. I mean,
Yeah.
we normally open up our, the beginning segment of our show with what's new with Rocket. So typically we talk about anything that's new that's happened in the last week. So has Alfie hit any milestones this week, or is there anything new that he's doing? Or do the milestones slowly creep wider and wider apart because, he's getting older now?
Yeah, I think that. I mean, he's definitely becoming more and more of a dude every single day. Like, you really see the personality now. And I feel like it's so much more fun because instead of feeling like you're trying to entertain someone, you can actually engage. So he'll like choose what books he wants to read, or he chooses what toy he wants to play with you. He tells me like when he's hungry, so he's like, Mama, more, high chair, high chair. Also very clever because he figured out the high chair is where the iPad is, so quite often he'll fake hunger. So that's a personality trait coming in, manipulation. I love to see it. But yeah, I feel like it's mainly what's new is the sort of I want mum to do everything, and I think it's because he knows. And the only reason that I don't enjoy that is because I'm having a C-section, that I'm nervous about the fact that I won't be able to, even if I want to, I won't be able to let him like jump and climb on me.
How long is the recovery time? Is it 6 weeks?
They say 6 weeks, but I was told that about birth last time, and it was definitely not 6 weeks. So I'm just being open-minded. But yeah, I'm hoping. I think 6 weeks is what they say. But a lot of people go back sooner. But I feel like we all want to get back sooner and be like, I'm fine. And then down the line, we're like, why do I wee myself?
Oh my God, I did that. I got back to work end of March. So it was about 3 weeks. I wet myself at the gig. Yeah.
I don't think you told me that. Did you not tell me?
I mean, it was kind of like I kind of needed to pee, and then I made like one little, shimmy, and then loads of pee came out, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm really wet down there. Yeah, because it's a thing. And then I thought to myself, what am I doing? Why am I suffering like this? I should just be at home with my baby.
If it makes you feel better, I have also weed myself at gigs, and it's probably just from alcohol consumption.
Nice.
I like that.
I love that. I love the honesty. Follow-up segments normally on here, we talk about TikTok turn-offs. Now, for us, we call this segment TikTok turn-offs because we are fully invested now in TikTok.
You're a TikTok star.
We are TikTok people.
Yeah.
Jamie is growing like an empire on TikTok, and I changed shitty nappies on TikTok, which is fantastic. So do you have, we'll call it social media turn-offs. Do you have any social media turn-offs? The types of videos that you will click on or that you'll swipe down and see, and it's just like, oh God, this again.
It's really upsetting me watching this all the time. Because the thing is what the algorithm does is they will show you what you want to see. So just say you're a DJ. I'm sure you see so many DJs on the platform, and you go, "Why is this person getting this gig? Why is this person like? How many? Why am I not getting that?" And the algorithm does is it shows you what you want to see. Same with podcasting. You'll do a podcast, and then you'll see so many people starting podcasts, and you go, "What?" But it's actually the algorithm feeding you what you're interested in. So, is there anything on social media that you see and you go, "Oh, I can't stand this"?
I would say I'd have 2 turn-offs.
Okay.
If I may. So the first one is all the sort of really like sexist nonsense that you see online, and especially on TikTok, the sort of Andrew Tate sort of culture. A lot of like trends where it's like choke your girlfriend for banter.
Oh my God, that's a thing.
It upsets me because people actually think that way and people are being exposed to it. But it also upsets me because I got banned from TikTok until I reached out to the PR because I showed a breastfeeding video. It wasn't even about breastfeeding, it was a motherhood video. And I was like, hang on a minute. So that content isn't allowed, like literally a mum feeding her child, but you're allowed to say that women are like basically like second place citizens. It's just like wild to me. And the second thing that annoys me is because I get a lot of like motherhood content.
Sure,
it's people who use their experience as the universal experience. So saying like sweeping statements like, any mother who doesn't want to spend all their time with their child, why even bother having a child? And I'm like, I want to be a keyboard warrior right now, but I'm better than that, so I'm just going to look away. Because that's what people do. They don't have to tell someone they don't agree with them. But it's like, have that opinion, but don't like make everyone else feel shit. Because it's not everyone. Like I started to be a better mum when I started to be able to leave him.
It makes you a better parent. And like me going back to work, I always said this, it made me a better parent. I appreciated those moments a little bit more. It's amazing how people really do believe. A friend said it to me the other day, said that women should be in the kitchen and men should be at work. And I was like gobsmacked by that comment. Gobsmacked. Couldn't believe it.
If anything, I'm always in the bloody kitchen because
You are in the kitchen.
if I didn't cook, you wouldn't eat.
I call Tommy Cinderella.
Oh, do you see what I mean? It's this completely mismatched, all of this stuff, because guys are the chefs. I will take it. I like it. I like chefing. You hate cleaning. I mean, I hate cleaning as well, let's be honest. We do.
But I do the washing.
You do the washing even though you hate it, so I appreciate that.
What do you both do? You and Tommy, what are your jobs?
You like blue jobs and pink jobs, that's what we call them. But,
So
yeah.
Tommy's really good at tidying anything that you can see.
That's like me!
But I'm really good at tidying the things you can't see. So if I open a cupboard, I'm like, oh, you've literally just thrown
Stuffed it all
everything
over.
that
in
annoys
here.
the crap out of me.
So I'm very good at the organising. I'm very good at doing the washing, not so good at remembering to take the washing out.
Yeah.
So that is my flaw.
It's good to know we're all the same.
If I'm left to my own devices, sometimes I'll put the washing machine on 5 times with the same load. I'm like, this is not good. So yeah, he's good at taking it out.
Yeah.
I
hanging
swear
it
this is
up.
my T-shirt, but it looks like it fits Alfie. It's been washed about 8 times. What's going on?
Oh my gosh, no, there is, like, I took a jumper out the other day, it had bleach marks all over it, and he was like, what have you done to my jumper? I was like, it wasn't me. He was like, you're the only
It
one that has
definitely was you. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad you're admitting it now.
I don't know how though, because
Well, it obviously
we
wasn't me.
stopped using bleach around the house because of the baby. So I'm like, how has
Yeah.
it got bleach marks on it? It makes no sense.
How much method do you buy, by the way?
Do you know
Do you
what?
buy Method?
I get the rhubarb one.
Yes, great flavour.
What a spray. Tell me you're in your 30s.
Yeah.
Tell me you're in your 30s. Love a Method clean.
It is
I
great.
still love bleach as well, though. But
Yeah.
I actually did bleach
too.
some of Tommy's clothes accidentally because I'd bleached the Arga and then I put his clothes to dry on
Ah.
it. But ever the optimist, Tommy decided to take it to the dry cleaners. And I was like, you know that they're not going to get rid of bleach stains. You've literally just given
That's
them
buggers.
money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, can we just talk about the fact that you have an Arga? I'm
I know.
very
I'm
jealous of that.
That is
Fancy.
amazing.
How is that though with the baby? Because it's always hot, isn't it?
It is always hot, but he just doesn't go near it.
So you
and
just-
he goes
he's
very,
learned.
very hot.
Okay, so he's learned.
Oh, that's
I mean,
Learn from
I don't leave
experience,
him
or-
in. No. I wouldn't leave him in the kitchen. I mean, there's lots of things that could go
Yeah,
wrong in the kitchen.
exactly.
So usually I'm there, but he's not the type of character who will. He's not a danger mouse. He's quite a cautious little character.
No, that's good. We say to Rocket all the time. So when I have a friend, she's very, very cautious. She's like, no, don't touch that radiator. It's really hot. And I'm like, if he touches it, he learns that it's hot and he won't touch it again. That's my parenting skills.
You're like, go on, touch it.
Go
See what
on,
happens.
yeah. Dare you.
I am. I'm literally that person.
Might not be great, but I mean, in some circumstances, I guess it kind of works. But we've already touched on Tommy. You're in this wonderful relationship with this man. You have a second child on the way. We were talking the other day, myself and Jamie, about what we do in our spare time. Obviously, can vary day to day, but also what you do in your spare time with Tommy. Once you put Alfie to bed, hopefully, obviously, as long as he's not getting up every 5 minutes. Myself and Jamie love to sit down, watch a film, watch a series. Not everyone does that. Do you sit down and do you watch series and films together in the evenings when you have your own time? And what is your favourite recommendation for the past 2 weeks, let's say?
Alf goes to bed about 8, a bit late, but and then once he's asleep, he's asleep. It's great. So I would love to say we sit down and watch something, but we actually go to bed. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
I even went to do rock and roll, and I was like, even
No.
butchered that, which kind of proves how rock and roll I am. So yeah, my excuse is that I'm heavily pregnant.
Yes, which
but
is an absolutely
we
perfect
love
excuse.
to get into bed and watch a series. The only issue with this is Tommy is a 1 episode a night man.
What?
It's grounds for divorce, but I'm not married.
Yeah.
Us neither.
That's
That's true.
That's why I'm not married.
Yeah.
I'm not making
I'm
a long-term
outraged.
commitment.
1 episode and then he goes, okay, good night. Or just
Yeah.
that he's not interested
Yeah.
in like following up and we have to watch the next one because that
Yeah.
was
I think
left
we
on a
got through
cliffhanger.
you in 3 days, didn't we?
I'm very jealous because that was my old blessed single life, just binge watching until I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore.
Doesn't he know that the baby's coming and that you actually should spend this time finishing the series?
When we started lockdown, which was when we moved in together, it wasn't a choice. He would never watch loads of series because he was like, oh, they're just a bit long. And I'm like, what?
That's the idea.
Yeah, so I got him into The Sopranos and then he was hooked. So now he's like new into this like series world, but he'll watch one. Like last night, Cliffhanger, very good. Really like this series.
It's good.
Yeah, really,
Really
good.
good.
So anyway, Cliffhanger, and then he just turns the TV off and I was like, ooh, it's 9:30. We could squeeze in another one. And he was like, oh no, I'm knackered. And I mean, Alf did wake up at 3:30. So probably a good thing. But I was sat there and I was thinking, what a prick. I could be like, I could have finished it by now. I could be well into the next series, but instead. So sometimes I watch a little bit ahead, but then it is really annoying when you have to rewatch it because you're
And
like,
you have to lie and say that you haven't watched it. I do that quite a lot.
I wonder who does that. Yeah. You know, I feel like, do we like you this season because we're, you know, either biased or borderline narcissists because it's in the UK?
I don't
And we're
know.
like, oh, it's very
But you know
London.
what? I do
like it.
like British crimes.
But
even
it
though we don't
makes
have TV.
Britain look. It makes us look like absolute knobs.
Yeah, it really
And
does.
also,
Anyone who's a member of Soho House, you look like a knob in this series, by the way.
It also makes me feel like, why has he just walked from Cambridge via East London to his amazing flat in Kensington, which he
Yeah.
would not be able to afford
No
on his
way.
1 day a week professor's salary? So if anything, the like logistical side of me doesn't like it being in London, because I'm like, that's not even possible. That's not real.
realistic at
Yeah.
all.
All the
yeah.
other bits, totally realistic.
The Americans are like, I want to go to London and experience that life.
Yeah, oh my God,
And
we
you're
could just like stay in a flat across from, the king. I was about to say the Queen.
They
the
make
King's
it look so good, don't they?
house.
Yeah.
Yes. We have a absolutely fabulous, I don't know, I'm chirpsing ourselves right now, segment in the show called Pass the Product. Now, we
Yeah.
call it Pass the Product because normally we bring a product onto the podcast in order to say, this is amazing, we love using this. So this episode, we would like to ask you, do you have a parenting product that you absolutely love and that you would recommend to anyone? Or everyone, sorry, because we like to find these things out, because you might come out with something very obscure and we go, that sounds like a gem, we need to buy it.
But also, you're a new parent. Well, you're a new parent to be. Is there any products that you would avoid now as you've had a baby and then you're having a second, or something that you're going, actually, I need this product. I didn't have it last time and I need to make sure that.
I mean, so to give you a bit of time to think, possibly, we've come up with products prior. One of my favourites for Rocket is his little tubby time seat. So in the bath, there's like a seat that kind of suctions itself to the floor. So he can sit in it. There's no risk of him slipping over in the bath. So it's kind of like he just sits in this seat in the bath and we can bath him, not have to worry about him. If we have to
Roasted
go
his
and get the
side.
shampoo, we'd have to turn around and see that he's fallen back or anything. So that's my favourite. You did the cuddle time? Cuddle
There's
dry?
a cuddle, there's this cuddle dry thing. It's this towel and you clip it on.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen it? And it's
Yeah,
got
I've
the
got
hood
that.
and you wrap it up. But it didn't last that long. When he hit 6 months, it's too small. But then what I would do differently this time round is I'd get a Doona car seat. They're amazing.
Yeah, I've got one of those this time round.
It's the
Have you?
spinning one.
It's basically...
Wait, I want Ashley to
Go on.
explain this to me, actually, very much.
Oh, maybe you'd explain it better now. I feel like a lot of pressure.
Oh, there you go.
So a doona is a car seat that turns into a pram. So if you have a baby that sleeps in a car, you can just flip it out. But also if you're going out and about, the one bad thing is it doesn't have storage underneath.
Okay, yeah.
So we didn't use it last time because we lived in London, didn't have a car. This time, I'm ready to use the doona. So that would
So
be
good.
a new product
Okay.
that I'm excited about.
The Doona, my friend just went... boom, and then it was a pram. I couldn't believe it.
There's wheels inside it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Very clever. Very clever. To the point where I was like, that's game changing.
What happens in winter though when it's really muddy and then you just have to put your dirty wheels in the car? I guess you have a blanket on the seat or something.
Okay, I see where you're coming
So
from.
I don't want to give that as
not
my expert
foolproof.
product because I haven't used it yet. So I'll report back.
Yeah, I like that.
But what I would say is a rotating car seat. That was a
Yeah.
game changer because you get a few months in and you're like, my back. Obviously, if they're fighting going in the car seat, little rotating one, it makes it so much easier. And I feel like if I'd have just bought that right from the beginning, it would have saved me having to
pain.
repurchase. it's expensive car
Yeah.
seats. And you're not
They
even
are.
allowed to resell them.
Oh, really? Like legally, you're not allowed to resell
I
them?
don't know if it's a legal thing, but they say don't buy second-hand car seats because you don't know if
never
they've
know.
been in a crash or not. But I feel like that's quite slim.
Yeah, I feel like, and also if you ever sell or something with a car seat, typically you're going to either give it or sell it to a friend who's having a baby. Like you're not going to, I don't think we'd sell to strangers
It's like
because we know
helmets.
enough people.
You're not meant to
Yeah.
buy a second-hand helmet.
I just can't understand how expensive prams are. Prams are
Absurd.
honestly minimum £1,000. That is so. And then you've got the cot on top, and then you've got the changing table. Saying that we weren't going to buy a changing table, thank God we did, because look at your TikTok. You wouldn't be anywhere without that changing table.
Damn right, that's right. I mean, I think that, having, this was something that Jamie touched on yesterday, that having one child, comes with a hell of a lot of expenses, as you can imagine. And then she said, I don't know how people are going to afford 2 or 3. And I'm like, you've already got everything. So ultimately, it's just hand-me-downs. You have all of the gubbins, let's say. You maybe need a second pram or a second seat for the pram, but ultimately, you've got everything.
Yeah, I think also you realise you need a lot less. So this time round, I'm like,
You're overloaded with
I
stuff.
don't need
the
an
first one.
entire wardrobe of baby clothes because she'll probably be in them for like a couple of months. So I'm just using all of our old stuff and like maybe getting a few nice little like girly bits. But I mean, I had so much with Alf, and also I spent a fortune on this thing called a snoo, which is like a bedside bassinet, but it's rocks and it's meant to mimic the womb.
Does that work?
It worked for us for like 2 days. You know when they're like really tired because they've just given birth.
Yeah,
It'd be very weird if
gone
they'd
through
given
birth
birth.
squished
canal.
out.
Yeah, so they're really tired, so it lulled us into a false sense of security. But also, I found it really fiddly to lift him in and out. He was like a really heavy baby, and I had stitches, which I will have this time in a different place. So yeah, I feel like all of that stuff. We're less stuffed out, but yeah, I feel like the cost of it. I'm hoping because we're doing meals and stuff anyway, but it's just childcare.
Is Alfie in a bed already?
Yeah, he's in toddler bed.
Oh, wow.
We did that for about 18 months.
Really?
18 months, okay. We're discussing, when's he gonna
Well,
go into
I've
toddler
heard it's
bed.
when babies start like to wake up in the middle of the night is when you want to transition them from a cot to a bed. And then afterwards, God knows what to do.
See, Alf was just never a cot person because we ended up co-sleeping for the first year. Mainly, it was just survival, and then the cot just never worked for us. Like every time we get him to sleep, and then we try and put him in it, and he'd wake up, and it was just the cot just wasn't for us. And then he'd get really upset in the night if he woke up, and if we went in, then he'd like sort of hit himself against the cot trying to like get to us, and then we'd have to get him out, and then when we got him out, we couldn't get him back in. So toddler bed was actually a game changer for us because it made putting him down was like went from an hour to 10 minutes max, and now we just like put him in it and walk out the door, and he loves it. So the only annoying thing is that obviously they can run through once they're awake. They can run through to you, but I actually really like being woken up to a little
Baby coming in. Are you on the same floor?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Well, actually, saying that, our 1-year-old can get up the stairs and down the stairs himself, but
He's the first line of defence if any burglars decide to come into our house, by the way. He's on the
Honestly,
first floor.
so
We're on the
true.
second floor.
controversial.
Right, come on, Rocket.
But our
Get your weapons.
nephew, they did this technique where they locked the baby in the room so he wouldn't actually escape and go down the stairs in the middle of the night or during nap time or something. What do you feel about locking Alfie away when he goes down for sleep? Have you ever done it?
Not for me.
Yeah, basically what had happened is they were downstairs in the kitchen, and in the middle of the night, they'd heard steps going down the thing, and they were just nervous that he was going to like trip and fall down the stairs or do something that he shouldn't in the middle of the night while they were asleep. So they were like, he kept doing it even though they were trying all these different ways. So they said, we're just gonna have to lock the door. And so they locked the door, and he would then just chill in his bedroom and play with his
that's why
toys
you have
until a
gates.
time. But
we
that's why
do
you
have
a gate.
stair gates.
Yeah,
but
we have stair gates.
Funny enough, Tommy and I often argue about this because when he wakes up early, he's always been a bit of an early riser. Tommy's like, we need to lock him in his room, and I was like, what is that going to do? He's just going to get really distressed, like banging against the door. But so it's like, if it was that we were struggling to get him down to sleep, then we could look at things. But like, what can you do once the child's awake? You can't be like, yeah. So we're going to try with a grow clock, which is like a light.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
So we'll see. But I feel like, I'd like to think that if there was ever anything wrong with him, whether it was like toothache or a nightmare or whatever, he wouldn't feel like, oh, I'm locked in my room.
Yeah. What can I do?
I mean, each to their own, really. But yeah, I feel like I want him to know that we're there. And that's what I keep trying to say to Tommy, because he's like, gets really stressed in the night. And look, I don't like particularly being woken up either, but I'm like, I just want him to know that we are there,
Accessible.
because I found then hopefully he'll end up being like, oh, I'm awake, but I can just go back to sleep because I know my parents are there.
That's
So-
nice. I like that.
We'll see. It might all change. Maybe ask me when I've got 2 and I'll be like, they're both locked in.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you got 2 nurseries then? Are you going to put them in the same nursery?
This is what I mean by second time round, you realise you don't need as much. I was like, give her a nursery. What? Give up my dressing room? Absolutely not. So we've put a changing table in our room, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Because we might end up trying to build another bedroom, but I don't know yet. But for now, she's going to be in our room for the next 6 months, and Alf uses his room. So yeah, I don't know what we'll do, but we'll see. I don't have to think about it yet.